Scene 2, a military camp near Sardis in Asia Minor several months later. So now we jump to that place in what is now Greece, but they call it Sardis in Asia Minor. So if you're mind, you can just think of Athens and Greece and in that area. Now this is several months later, so let's just say it's 5-6 months. So we are now 2 years after the assassination of Julius Caesar. And so it's taking a long time to have this play out. It's very important that we see, this is the first time that Brutus and Cassius have been together again, and eventually, and they've been apart for a little while. They have their own little armies, and they're coming together to kind of do what Anthony was just talking about in the previous scene. And I want you to focus, because they were friendly to one another before. Okay, well that was, as we just established, 2 years ago. Okay, when Brutus and Cassius were planning, well actually Cassius was planning the conspiracy, and then Brutus was going along with it. But Cassius was acting like they were really close, real close. Look at how the relationship has changed. It'll go more in detail in scene 3. But here, see how Brutus is kind of unsure about where they stand, and ultimately when we see them show up. So Brutus is waiting for Cassius to come, get off his horse, and they can walk into the tent for scene 3 and have their big scene.
Scene 2. A military camp near Sardis in Asia Minor. Several months later. Drum. Enter Brutus, Lucilius, Lucius, and the army. Titinius and Pindarus meet them.
Stand ho!
Give the word ho, and stand.
What now, Lucilius? Is Cassius near?
He is at hand, and Pindarus is come to do you salutation from his master.
He greets me well. Your master Pindarus, in his own change, or by ill officers, hath given me some worthy cause to wish things done undone. But if he be at hand, I shall be satisfied.
I do not doubt but that my noble master will appear, such as he is, full of regard and honor.
He is not doubted. A word, Lucilius. How he received you, let me be resolved.
With courtesy and respect enough, but not with such familiar instances, nor with such free and friendly conference, as he hath used of old.
Thou hast described a hot friend cooling. Ever note, Lucilius, when love begins to sicken and decay, it useth an enforced ceremony. There are no tricks in plain and simple faith, but hollow men, like horses hot at hand, make gallant show and promise of their mettle.
Low march within.
But when they should endure the bloody spur, they fall their crests, and like deceitful jades sink in the trial. Comes his army on?
They mean this night in Sardis to be quartered. The greater part, the horse in general, are come with Cassius.
Enter Cassius and his powers.
Hark! He has arrived. March gently on to meet him.
Stand ho!
Stand ho! Speak the word along.
Stand!
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 Most noble brother, you have done me wrong.
Judge me, you gods! Wrong I mine enemies? And if not so, how should I wrong a brother?
Brutus, this sober form of yours hides wrongs, and when you do them...
Cassius, be content. Speak your grief softly. I do know you well. Before the eyes of both our armies here, which should perceive nothing but love from us, let us not wrangle. Bid them move away. Then in my tent, Cassius, enlarge your griefs, and I will give you audience.
Pindarus, bid our commanders lead their charges off a little from this ground.
Lucius, do you the like, and let no man come to our tent till we have done our conference. Let Lucilius and Titinius guard our door.
They exit. Brutus and Cassius remain, and withdraw into Brutus's tent, while Lucilius and Titinius mount guard without.
Act 4, Scene 2, a military camp near Sardis. It's very important that we see where this relationship is at currently. Brutus feels that something's changed. Cassius obviously has some issues, and they're going to have to resolve these, and that'll happen in the next scene. But this is the first time that we really see them. And there's a great line in here that Brutus says in a little bit that we'll talk about. But Brutus and Lucilius, look at lines 6, 7, 8. Your master, Pindarus, in his own change or by ill officers, hath given me some worthy cause to wish things undone. So over these 2 years, whether it's by something that Cassius did or some of his officers, it's given me reason to kind of wish I could go back and redo some things. Like maybe not join in an alliance with this guy. So some things that happen, we'll find out what those are. But he notices that there's a strain, that something's happening, and he's having some misgivings about it. Lucilius, I want to ask you a question because Pindarus is connected with Cassius. Lucilius is with Brutus. So these are a lot of names that you might be getting confused with. And what they do is they each send their representative to go and set up a meeting or a message. Oh, so-and-so's coming, great. So that's kind of the names if you need to make a connection. So anyways, Brutus asks Lucilius, hey, how did he receive you? Let me know. Let me know, how did he welcome you? What was that like? Because you are an extension of me and I really want to know. Oh, with courtesy and with respect enough, but not with such familiar instances, nor with such free and friendly conference as he hath us of old. So it was fine, it was formal, but there just wasn't the warmth. There wasn't the friendship that we've had, in years past. So it's rough. Now here's the famous line of Brutus. Thou hast described a hot friend coolly. I think that statement should be easy to analyze on your own. Just imagine a hot cup of coffee, a good friendship. It's starting to cool off and then it's not good anymore. And so that's what I thought. You've described it well. Ever note, Lucilius, so pay attention, that when love begins to sicken and decay, it useth an enforced ceremony. So look at the footnote. There's a strange formality. So there's an awkwardness. When love, friendship starts to cool down, it's kind of awkward. Kind of like if you have a friend and you're starting to grow apart, or there was some big blow up, or you both perceive something that the other person said behind your back, but you guys can't come out and say it, and then you have to hang out together. You think that'd be a little awkward? And you would pretend that everything's fine? One of those things? Yeah? Okay. So that's very similar to here, and that's what he's describing. And so as Cassius shows up on his horse and they get down and Brutus welcomes him, there's no, hi brother, how are you? Look at the first thing that's said. Cassius comes out swinging. Not really swinging, but figuratively. So everybody's like, stand, relax, hello, speak the word along, stand. And Cassius, line 37, most noble brother, you have done me wrong. Judge me, you gods, wrong I mine enemies, and if not so, how should I wrong a brother? Brutus, this sober form of yours hides wrong. So this elegant stance of yours, you are doing wrong things. And so Cassius obviously is upset about something, and Brutus had sensed leading up to this that there's probably some issue going on, so we need to have some words. Look at the bottom with Brutus then. He says, Cassius, be content. Speak your grief softly. I do know you well. Before the eyes of both our armies, which should perceive nothing but love from us, let us not wrangle. So meaning, let's not fight in front of the kids. Okay? We don't want the kids to see us fight. Wait a minute, they have kids out? No. The armies. We need them to be unified. We need to not have any friction. So if we have disagreements, speak softly, I know you well. Let's go into our tent and let's talk about these. Let's not watch mom and dad fight in front of the kids. Okay, so that's kind of what he's saying there. He says, I will listen to you, and that's where they start heading in, off stage, heading into the tent, whatever the setup shelter is. And Brutus says, let no man come to our tent till we have done our conference. And so it's going to be a one-on-one discussion where everything is going to be, discussed.